I'm gonna live forever. Fame. I'm gonna learn how to fly high. I feel it coming together. Fame. Remember, remember, remember. I've probably butchered it, but those are some of the lyrics to I guess, a 1980s pop song and TV show. Maybe I believe the song was I believe the song was the soundtrack to a TV show. But you can fact check me. I do not do show prep. I just talk about whatever's on my mind. Good afternoon, and welcome to My Daily Walk, the daily half-hour podcast where an anonymous Hollywood guy talks about anything and everything, except those things he's contractually obligated to conceal. And if you want to get in on this conversation, or get in on the monologue, I guess is what you would be more appropriate, email me at mydailywalk@thiswaytv.com. It is the third Friday of this show, and I think it's coming together. I'm figuring out thematic days of the week. Right now, Thursdays are the Hollywood guy theme. I talk about what it's like to work in Hollywood, what experiences, insights, kind of taking the veil off the mystique. I suppose. I don't know if I'm really doing that or if I'm actually making it even more mysterious and confusing. But so that's Thursdays. Wednesdays, I believe we'll stick with the topical. This past Wednesday was a very serious topic, bloodlust, but it won't always be heavy topics like that. Tuesdays, this past Tuesday, I started telling personal stories that perhaps I or you may derive some life lesson from it. I think I've decided that Mondays will be like Meditation Monday. I'll pick a truth or a phrase or a verse or a passage of whether it be a biblical text or that's something I'm fairly familiar with, so likely the majority of topics for Meditation Monday will come from some biblical passage, but that's not the only source of truth, and so I'd like to meditate on truth on Mondays, or at least speculate and ruminate and hash it out and see what comes out of this mind that I've been bequeathed. But Fridays are still up in the air, and today is Friday, and I'm still sticking to the topic that I had announced. I guess I announced it last week, or maybe I just announced it Monday, that I wanted to talk about fame today. And so if Fridays are random, right now Friday's topical, but I don't know. Friday remains to be seen. Friday is freewheeling Friday. You may also note, if you've listened thus far, you've heard dogs barking many times. And whoa, it sounds like you've probably even heard those particular dogs barking previously. If you've been listening up to this point, you may note that I generally say good morning and welcome to my daily walk, because generally I am walking and talking in the morning. But I had an errand to run this morning, and As is common with many errands, they take more time than you allot. And so I didn't get back until noon or so. I contemplated doing my walk and talk out where I had to go, but that would be noisy, and it's just not an area that's conducive to a tranquil, meditative walk and talk. But the errand I had to run is actually, this was not planned, but the errand I had to run is related to today's topic. So if you live in LA or work in Hollywood, in this area, and you need to procure an entertainment industry work permit for an underaged actor or actress. There's one office in the whole LA basin that can process your paperwork in a day or in an hour. If you bring all the proper paperwork, you can procure a entertainment industry work permit. And my only experience is I have, my first job in the business was working in casting, and so the errand I had to run is I had to procure 2 work permits or to renew these particular actors have work permits that have expired, and they're filming. They're contributing to they have a small part. They're contributing a small part to a short film that shoots tomorrow, and so I procured those work permits for them today. And I suppose, ironically, neither of these 2 actors really aspire to fame. They have another talent that is required for this short film that they're qualified for. Nevertheless, if they're on camera, it doesn't matter if they're acting in a project or are associated with the project in some other capacity. If they're a minor, they're shooting a behind the scenes to the short film as well, so they will be on camera for the part that they're involved with. Being so ambiguous by design, but just so happens when you go to these places, you have generally this one office. You do see a lot of what they call stage parents, mostly stage moms. You see a mom come in with a small child and get their work permit, and you overhear, oh, they're filming, she has a job today, I need to get this processed. It's a convenience to have this office, but you just have to have your act together. In this town, a person can get cast and be required to be on set all within about a 48-hour period. Literally, you can get a call from a casting office saying, go to this audition this afternoon or tomorrow, and the shoot could be that day or the next day. I mean, literally. I mean, it generally isn't that quick of a turnaround, but it does happen. That's the extreme case. So it's nice to have the legal process in place for the convenience of those that can jump through those hoops. Those are not hoops I like to jump through. I've had to deal with that kind of short notice stuff. It's just part and parcel of working in this town, at least in certain capacities. If that isn't enough ambiguity, I don't know what is. So let's get to our topic. Fame. Now, actors can have fame, singers can have fame, presidents have fame, homicidal maniacs have fame. And so we're talking about something, again, that is not intrinsically good or evil. It's just a fact. It's just it's a thing, and can be used for good or evil. And fame destroys some people, and fame brings the best out of some people. It's just irrefutable. And so I had meditated on, or have meditated on, my own thoughts and my own personal passions and pursuits, and the possibility or likelihood of fame, what that would mean to me. I mean, I'm the anonymous Hollywood guy on this podcast, so it's not that I, at this point, care about my name being known. That's not my objective, and I guess maybe that does tie in to what I want to talk about. Someone very close to me, who knows me pretty well, has known me for more than 2 decades, said to me, this was maybe 5 years ago, I don't know, you just want to be famous. And initially I took offense. I'm like, what? I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm not pursuing these things for fame. It's that, that kind of defensive posture that arises instantly when you feel like you've been falsely accused or misunderstood. It's like, what? No, but I stopped down and I'm like, why am I reacting that way? And meditated on it and faced the truth. I do want to be famous. But in my meditation, I realized my reaction against, my denial, my reactionary denial of that accusation was based on the pejorative sense, the pejorative connotation of that concept. Oh, you just want to be famous. And I mean, there have been surveys, again, fact check me on this, but I do recall reading the results of a study within the past couple of years that young people, the young people coming up in this current generation, that statistically it's on the rise, that if you ask a young person what they want for their future, they say they want to be famous. A large percentage, a significantly larger percentage than in the past. So it's trending. It's a trend that is continuing in that direction. And with the advent of technology and like people becoming stars of their own right in alternative media. But the follow-up question in that study was, how are you going to become famous? And there's like crickets. I'm like, I don't know. I want to be famous, but I don't know what I want to be famous for. I don't know why I should become famous. It's like fame for fame's sake. And that I think deserves all the pejorative connotation that comes with it, that fame for fame's sake is absolutely not a good thing. Plenty of people, well, let's not go off on that tangent, but fame itself, there is a, if I'm saying that fame for fame's sake is inherently bad, well, is there an inherently good type of fame? And I think there is, and that's, I think the conclusion I came to is, if the fame that you have, you know, and I say I do want to be famous, it's not my pursuit. I'm not pursuing fame for fame's sake. I'm pursuing other endeavors that could, if I succeed in those endeavors, would result in a level of fame. And obviously there's degrees of fame. There are some YouTubers who have 300,000 subscribers or whatever, or they have 1 million subscribers, you get 300,000 views on every video. That's those people are quote unquote famous, but it's, 1 million subscribers versus 7 billion people on the planet. A lot of people don't realize that Jackie Chan is actually one of the most famous actors on the planet, because he's got that whole China demographic and English-speaking Hollywood entertainment. So, I mean, people don't know Nicolas Cage, for the same reason, is also one of the biggest actors. He just has a big market in Asia. He's just a popular actor. So fame is relative to where you are, what circles you run in, what you value, etc. So what I'm pursuing, if I am successful at what I do, I will have relatively more fame than I have now, and potentially exponentially more fame than I have now. But I'm not pursuing fame. I'm pursuing a line of work that's just a byproduct. That's just an inevitability, a result. And so, if what I'm pursuing, and not in a bad way, the fame that would accompany, say project one that I'm working on gets made. And if you don't know what I mean by project one, go to last Friday's podcast. I talked about 7 projects that I'm working on. If project one gets made, it's I think about as universally as possible, universally acknowledged as a good thing. It's just a good story, good ramifications, a good reason, good motive for making it, etc. Everybody involved in it wants to be involved in it, and everybody who, anyway, going off on a tangent, but I'm going to butcher this, but I boiled it down to one sentence, something along the lines of, fame should only be pursued if it leads to benefits to humankind. That's nowhere close to the phrase, whatever I wrote down in my journal, wherever. But fame should only be pursued for the benefit of humankind. If there is something about you or what you do that will benefit humankind, the fame that you pursue or that you seek or that results is a good thing. Kind of relates to power of life and death is in the tongue. I think I mentioned that in a podcast that, ooh, that is loud. Gosh, I am not going to pause. I'm going to let it pass. Reset. Good grief. Even in a quiet neighborhood, in the quietest, this is the quietest, I guarantee this is the quietest neighborhood for probably 5-mile radius at least. Unless there's a couple parks within that, but as far as neighborhoods where people live. And even here, ugh. All right, it's totally sidetracked. All right, So when I was meditating on how I was going to tease this topic, and that, fame, that song popped into my head, and the phrase, I want to live forever, or I'm going to live forever. I think that's how the verse in the lyric in the song goes. I'm going to live forever, or I want to live forever. I think that's, the songwriters nailed it, I believe. This innate desire to be known. It's innate. You want to be accepted by someone. It's the same thing. Wanting to be known. To be known. You are known by your friends, your family, and maybe that's good or bad. I mean, maybe things that your friends know about you, you wish they didn't, and your family knows about you, you wish they didn't. But it's actually, a good thing. If they love you and accept you, for better or worse, then there you have it. But that's the, I guess, the more common, or the normal manifestation, wanting to be known. But then on a grand scale, wanting to be known by your peers, wanting to be known by society, wanting to be known because it will elevate you in importance, or maybe you think it'll just automatically equal dollar signs, fill your bank account. Plenty of famous people dead broke. So plenty of famous people who were once very wealthy because of their fame that are also dead broke, because, like I said, fame can destroy a person if they don't understand it or handle it. But that innate desire to be known. I'm not judging this generation for more and more of them wanting to be famous, because they can't help it. We're all born that way, wanting to be known. But the fact of the matter is, we all are known. We are known. And if you ascribe to Orthodox Trinitarian monotheism, then you have an audience at all times. I mean, then if that is true, whether you ascribe to it or not, if Orthodox Trinitarian monotheism is a fact and not just an idea, but if it's a description of reality, if those teachings are true, capital T, the fact is you have an audience at all times that approves of you, that applauds you, that takes delight when you thrive and succeed, when you live victoriously, when you live triumphantly, when you take on the tasks of the day, the responsibilities, the duties, you take them on head on, and even if it feels like one step forward and two steps back, the fact that you get up every day and you attack the world, you attack life, and you push forward toward goals, treating others, that's critical, treating others with respect, then that audience is delighted. And that's it's a whole topic. Maybe that'll be Monday's topic. I think I have decided that Monday's meditation will pick off from kind of this thought, that audience, that particular audience that I'm referring to. I am being, again, ambiguous and vague, but I'll be a little more detailed in Monday's podcast. So Monday, we'll talk about a verse I'm embarrassed that I don't actually remember who said it. I do believe it's in the New Testament, so I don't know if it's like Jesus said it or like the Apostle Paul said it. Very embarrassed. Because I inevitably, I know some of the listeners of this podcast will have undoubtedly some will be saying, oh, that's, the book of such and such chapter and verse, and I don't have that kind of retention of detail, but pray without ceasing is the verse we'll talk about on Monday. And then Tuesday, I have thought of another life experience that we'll talk about. Wednesday's topic, I did tease this early on, and since I've been changing the schedule, Wednesday's topic was, I don't remember what it was going to be, but I think I'm going to talk about what was it, 100 billion nuclear bombs? I think that's it, 100 billion nuclear bombs. That'll be Wednesday's topic. Thursday, I think I'm going to talk about the back lot. And I have decided what it means to be on the back lot in Hollywood. That'll be, the Hollywood guy themed topic. And next Friday, no idea. I'll either pick a topic or I will have an email by then. Email me now. We're almost done with this podcast, so it's MyDailyWalk at thiswaytv.com. Email me if you want to suggest a topic for Friday. Maybe that's what I'll do. Friday will be listener suggested topics. Maybe I'll cover multiple. I mean, as of this recording, I haven't even started posting these. If you're listening, it's been 3 weeks or more running that it's been online, but as of the recording, I'm creating a backlog before I launch the podcast. That's, in post-production, that's, you always have your stuff in the can, ideally months before it goes to air. And so, I'm creating a backlog of content so that I don't, so I don't get myself in a tight squeeze. And well, so there, I teased next week somewhat in a rambling fashion, but fame, we are all famous to someone. We are all known. And the notion of the more people know me, the better is, especially in today with what's going on in entertainment and media, the more people that know you, the bigger a target you put on yourself. So this desire for fame is a two-edged sword, and I don't think enough young people understand that. I don't think enough people, period, understand. Oh, here comes that noisy truck again. Let me get out of here, man. To finish this off with this noisy truck. What do I have? A minute left? Yeah. My apologies. I've decided not to hit. There is a pause feature on this where I can interrupt my podcast to tie my shoe or whatever, but I don't want to pause it. So call me lazy, but please forgive me for allowing that noisy truck. And maybe you don't hear it as loudly as I do. I do like this recording device and the mic that it has, but so there you have it. I'm going to live forever. Well, there's another topic for another Meditation Monday, probably the following one, but I think that does tie into that innate desire to be known.